Hey guys, it's Startuck from FTC Team 9794 Wizards.exe. And this is the next video in our Vision spellbook. And in this video, we're just going to do a quick walkthrough on how to use Vuforia in the block programming interface. So last week we did a video on how to do it in Android Studio. And now we're just going to do a quick walkthrough on how to do it in blocks. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've already connected to my robot controller phone. So I'm just going to navigate to the robot controller console, the block programming interface, at this IP address over here. Once I'm over there, you can go to the blocks menu and press create new op mode. Now I want to call it Vuforia detection tutorial, but before you press OK, you should go ahead and click on sample, and you'll see that we have two choices over here. We have concept Vuforia nav Skystone and concept Vuforia nav Skystone webcam. Now in this particular video, I'm just going to cover using the phone camera. So I'm just going to go ahead and press this one. But the steps are largely similar. So if you want to use a webcam, you can also choose this sample and follow along the same steps I'm going through. But I'm going to go ahead and choose this one since I'm using my phone camera. And you can go ahead and press OK. So what you'll notice is that when the program pops up, it's going to automatically populate a bunch of blocks for you to use. And it just serves as a sample and a guide for you to be able to see what's going on. So what we're going to do over here is just walk through this first. So it initializes the Vuforia, and then during this initial loop, it's going to check to see which targets are visible. So is it the Skystone target or is it any of the 8 navigation targets along the field? And if one of those targets is visible, it's going to process it and show the information. Now, what does that mean? So processing the target takes a look at whatever target is currently visible. It displays its name, and it also gives you the X, Y, and Z coordinate information in inches, and it also gives you the rotation about the Z axis. So, what's your robot's rotation relative to the vision target you're looking at? So, this is actually pre-built for us to use. So, all I'm going to do is I'm going to press save. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to do a quick run through of this before we make any additional changes just to see how it works. So go ahead, press save, and then we're going to run that on our robot controller and driver station phone. So once you have that downloaded, saved onto your phone, what we're going to do is we're going to try running it. So I'm going to go to my robot controller phone. And I'm just going to move this over to the right. So here's a preview of my robot controller phone. And now I've gone to the FTC game materials and season info. And I've opened up two documents. The first one is the Skybridge navigation targets, and then the second one's the Skystone navigation targets. Just so we can see the different targets I can take a look at. So the first one I have is the Skystone, which you're going to have to detect during autonomous if you choose to complete that task. So what I'm going to do is on my driver station phone, I'm going to press initialize, and you'll see the robot controller app start to build the preview, and now you'll see the camera preview on the screen. So on your driving station phone, it should say Vuforia initialized, press start to continue. So just press play to run the program, and now you should see some of the information available to you. So it shows you, hold on, if you should be able to see this on your screen, the X, Y, and Z coordinate information, as well as the rotation information at the bottom of your screen. It also says that the stone target is visible, which may be useful to you. So you can see the stone target. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into some of the other navigation targets. So you can see when I look at this target, the driver station phone says red front bridge is visible, and it shows the XYZ information. So I can scroll through different targets. So like now it says red rear bridge is visible, and their driver station phone should now say the blue front ridge is visible, and hold up, and now the blue back ridge is visible. And then when there are no targets visible, like it is in this instance, it should say targets are not visible, no targets detected. So hopefully that was working since you didn't have to do anything additionally in the program. You just had to open it up. But now what we're going to do is we're going to start changing this block code just a little bit. You can go ahead and press stop on your program. We're going to change this block code just a little bit to practice accessing the different values you might need in either autonomous or teleop. So what I'm going to do is, let's see. Um, we want to go to this method process target because that's where all of the information we are storing, sorry, that we're looking at on the driver station phone is getting stored at. So what we're going to do is, if this lets me scroll down, yep, there we go. Um, uh, that's weird. Hold on, just give me a sec. Let me refresh my window. Seems like something's going on. Reload. Yep, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to go down to this process target method. And so what we want to do is we want to be able to, let's say, we want to get the X information for our target. So let's say if we want to see the stone target, which we do in autonomous, we need to store that X value so we can make some decisions based on it. Decisions like, do I have to go to the left, straight ahead, or to the right to get the Skystone? So what we're going to do is I'm going to make a variable, create variable. I'm going to call it Skystone X Position. Just like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the Skystone X position to this value right over here. So we can just go ahead and copy and paste this, sorry, duplicate this. So what it does over here is it gets the Vuforia tracking results, accesses the X value, converts it to inches as your unit, and rounds it to two decimal places. You can change these parameters if you want to, but these should be fine just for our use case. Now, so what we want to do is we only want to see that information if it's for the stone target, because that's what we're looking at in autonomous. So I'm just going to go ahead and go in here, and the only thing I want is that I want this first if statement and the else statement, and everything else I'm just going to throw away. So hold on. Yep, I want the if and the else, just like that. And we can start deleting all these extra ones, and we only want to keep the stone. That's the only one we want to keep. We want to keep the stone process target and no targets detected. So you can go ahead and delete these excess blocks real quick. So once that's complete, I'm just going to go ahead and add one piece of information to here. Oh, there's one more block hiding here. So the one thing I want to add is a telemetry block that just shows the X position. So we can go to telemetry and we can say add data. And then I just want to say X position. Whoops. And then under the number column, what we're going to want to do is I'm going to go under variables and select where is Skystone X position, and just put that under the number. And we should be all good to go. So you can go ahead and save that op mode, and we'll try running it on the Android phones. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up the stone target again. And let me pull up my robot controller. Phone. Let me just adjust this window real quick. Move this to the side. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and initialize. Oh, whoops. I want to open up my FTC app. There we go. And while that opens up, you can go ahead on your driver station phone. And what you're going to want to do is open up the Vuforia detection tutorial op mode in the teleop menu. Press initialize. You'll see the preview pop up again. And you can go ahead and press play. So you should see at the bottom of your driver station phone that there's an extra an extra line saying X position, and it should show um, a value right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys. You see that last line on the telemetry data is the X position. And so you can see as I move my phone up and down, the X position is changing along with that. So that's one piece of information we can use. But most commonly, what's going to be applicable to robots is the lateral movement, the side to side motion. So when I'm looking at my driver station phone and seeing the telemetry data, I'm seeing that the Y value is the number that's changing the most. So maybe that's the value I want to store instead of the X value. So I'm going to go back to my block program. I'm going to go back to my block program. I'm going to make a new variable that stores the Y value instead of storing the X value. So let me make this screen a little bigger. And then I'm just going to go over to variables, create variable. It's going to be called Skystone Y Position. And then we're going to go back into the process target menu. And instead of setting the X position, we're going to set the Y position. And we're going to have to access the Y instead of the X value over here. And that should be able to change it, just like that. Now, before we run this program again, what I want to do is identify which stone it is, the one of the three stones, of the first three stones in the quarry, the left, center, or right. I want to identify which stone has a sky stone. Now, I'm just going to make up some arbitrary values to show you guys the basic logic behind this, but you'll have to experiment and find out yourself. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to put an if statement over here. And I'm going to create a variable, or no, I don't have to create a variable. So we're going to use this Skystone Y position. Let me just update the telemetry data. And we're going to say if the Skystone Y position is greater than 2, for instance. If it's greater than 2, let me go get a math block real quick. Yep, if it's greater than 2, we're going to add a telemetry statement. So let me go to the telemetry menu under utilities. And we're going to say the Skystone position is on the left. I'm just going to say that for now. And then let's make a second case. So we have this else if over here. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. And let's say it's less than let's say it's less than -2. Then we're going to say that's on the right. And then if the Skystone position, the Y value is not greater than 2 or not less than 2, then we're just going to say that it's in the center, which means that the value is between -2 and 2. And this should be ready for us to save. So I'm just going to go ahead and press save. And then I'm going to pull up my robot controller phone in just a moment. And we'll be able to test this program out. But one thing I want to emphasize before we do that is, again, I just made these up as arbitrary values to show the logic of identifying if it's on the left, center, or right. And based on if you can identify if it's left, center, or right, what we can do is you can have your robot make different motions to get to the field, or sorry, to get to the correct skystone to pick it up. Now, of course, this is going to differ for each robot, but at least we can give you the building blocks to be able to get to that position, to be able to identify what position you have to get to, and then you have to figure out how you can drive your robot over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my robot controller phone on my screen. Just give me a moment while it loads up. Okay, I'm just going to drag it over to the screen over here. And now I'm going to go back to the stone navigation target. So I have my robot controller phone. I'm going to initialize the op mode. The preview should pop up. And once it says it's ready to go, you can press play. And so you see right now, I'm going to hold up my driver station phone to the camera so you guys can see. But right now it says the value is about -3 right now. It's -2, -3. So it's going to say it's on the right. Now I'm going to slide my phone over this way. Oh, whoops. I'm going to slide it the other way. I guess that's the way it's working. And you can see how it changed to center. And if I slide it over even more, I change to left. So you can see how I'm sliding it back and forth. Whoops, sorry. The Y value is changing, and the robot is figuring out which block it is based on those coordinates. So that is essentially what you need to be able to identify what position you have to go to. Since you know that the Skystones are in fixed positions to start the game, if you can figure out using the information and logic we just made in this block programming software, if you can figure out which position the Skystone is in, you can figure out how to navigate your robot to that position and use whatever intake or grabber you have to pick up the Skystone and move it to the correct position. Now that wraps up this video, this part of our Vision spellbook. If you guys have any questions or comments about the video, please let us know in the comments below, or you can send us an email at wizards.exe@gmail.com. Please be sure to check out our other YouTube videos. We're releasing some new odometry videos really soon, especially the programming part, so that should be pretty exciting. And you can check out all the other videos that we've been releasing for some of the other FTC spell books that we have. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And again, if you have any questions or concerns, please make sure to contact us. Thanks for watching.